everyone. Today we're going to be discussing and setting up some paragraph styles. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is, number one, double check that you have your InDesign set up the same as mine. I have mine set up as Essentials Classic. I find that it gives you the most options that are open. And you can refer back to my other video where I set up the baseline grid. So go up to Window, make sure that you have both the character styles and the paragraph styles open. So you're going to go down to Window Styles and open up both of those. And if it makes it a little bit easier, you can just drag them right over here to the side and separate them out so you can see what you're doing. So a paragraph style is going to apply to the entire paragraph. Okay? A character style will apply to either just one letter or one word within the paragraph. That is the difference between them. So let's look at what we need to create today for styles. We need a body copy style, a drop cap style, a subheading, and some bullets. And then we need to have a byline that isn't part of our styles. But you'll notice within the bullets, we need to create a character style that applies to the first word only that makes it semi-bold. If you do not have semi-bold on your computer, you can use the regular bold. That's fine. So I'm going to delete this body style that I have in here, just so that way we can start over. So the first thing that I'm going to do within my paragraph styles is I'm going to create a new style by clicking on that plus sign. Then I need to edit it. So if you just double click on the name, it's just going to let you rename it. You want to click either to the left or to the right, and that'll open up the options. And then we need to just follow along with what it says. So we need Times New Roman regular, and we're going to name it body. Go to basic character formats, Times New Roman regular. It needs to be 10 point type over 14, referring back to the fraction example that's explained up at the top. So 10 over 14. And it needs to have left alignment. So we'll go down to indents and spacing, left alignment. It needs to have a 0.125 inch space after the paragraphs. So that would be a space after. And it needs to align all lines to the grid. And that's the baseline grid that we set up in the last video. And then you can hit OK. And to attach it, you would just click on your text box and click on body, and that'll attach it. And something got a little bit weird, so let's double check that. 10, 14. Oh, that's why I added spaces. I forgot to hit return. All right, next we're going to make a drop cap. So you'll notice it says same as body copy. So an easy way to do this is to have the body copy paragraph style selected and hit the plus sign, double click, and we want it to be based on body. See, we're going to name this one drop cap. And we're going to set the drop cap to 3 lines. So let's go down to drop caps and nested style, 3 lines, and hit OK. And see, you can see how I have a return there, so you can see what's happening. Next, we're going to make a subheading. So the subheading is going to be Arial, narrow, bold. So just make a new paragraph style, double click. We'll call this one subheading. We don't want this one based off of drop cap or anything, so we're just going to go back to no paragraph style and start over for this one. So Arial, narrow, bold. under basic character formats, Arial, narrow, bold. And if you don't have these fonts, find something similar. That'll be fine. 14-point type. The tracking is going to be 10, so that's right here. You can set your leading just to auto. And center aligned, so indents and spacing, change that to center. And we're going to have a 0.0625 inch space before. So that's over here. And we're not going to align it to the grid. So make sure that that is set to none. Oh, space after should be set to 0 too. Just double check that any of your settings from before are not applied. Don't want any drop caps. I don't know why it still added those. So just double check the settings that you've added. Okay, good. Next, we need to make bullets. And you'll notice it says select the text starting with font families to the right of the byline for the bulleted list. So again, same as the body copy. So I'm going to go back to body copy, make a new style, and this one I'm going to call bullets. And I wanted to have a 0.125 in the tab position. So just make sure everything's the same as my body copy. And go down to bullets, which are right here, bullets and numbering. So the list type is going to be bullets. And you're going to want to do 0.125 in the tab position. No space after the paragraphs added. So just go back up to indents and spacing, and we're going to remove that space after. Set that to 0 and hit OK. Perfect. And then we need to create a character style here. And the first word of each bullet needs to be Times New Roman semi-bold. So now I'm going into my character styles, and I want to create a new one. And I'm just going to call this bullets bold, so I remember what I'm using it for. And it's going to be Times New Roman semi-bold. So under basic character formats, I'm going to go to font family, Times New Roman. I don't have semi-bold on my machine, so I'm just going to use regular bold. And again, make sure it is 10/14. And hit OK. So now when I select this word, apply that. Why isn't it applying? Hold on one second. Oh, bold. There we go. Now it will be bold. And if you don't want it for another word, just set it to none. All right, so then all you will do is grab your text that you download right here, copy and paste it in, and follow along. And you can see some benchmark examples right down here of how it should look. Just note if there's anything that needed to be fixed in those examples.